Hey, welcome back, YouTube. So, I don't know if you've been for those who've been paying attention, so I recently uploaded a video, and on my vlog numbers, I went with 0.1, and I basically my reason for numbering it is a 0.1 as opposed to just giving it the next number. So I noticed the numbers are getting really high, and several of those videos probably should have been just consecutive to each other. Like what I'm saying is, if I had any kind of video editing skills, like those videos should have been probably combined together. Anyway, that was by far the most extreme case I've had of videos that should have been combined together, because I was carrying my phone, and I stumbled a little bit and nearly dropped my phone and bumped the screen. And in bumping the screen, I stopped it from recording, and I just immediately started recording again. So it certainly didn't deserve its own video number. And on that note, yeah, I intend to do the same thing with this one. Although, looking hindsight, they say hindsight is always 20/20. Hindsight, I really wish I had I really wish I had carried my phone in with me to video my trip inside Circle K, because I did actually talk to one of the clerks. Oh man, I really did. I actually talked to one of the clerks, and I went in, and they were very low on cups, and they've been posting signs at some of the locations, to bear with them that they're experiencing a cup shortage. And for those who haven't been paying attention, there's a lot of shortages of a lot of things these days. There's recently, I think the one that impacted the whole world about a year ago was, a little over a year ago, was a toilet paper shortage. But ever since then, there have been shortages on a lot of different things. And some people are, very keenly aware of it, some people aren't. But anybody who works in construction is well aware that there's been a lumber shortage for quite some time. And I've heard it's easing up. I don't work in construction, so I'm not as in the know on that one. But it's my understanding that there was a pretty severe lumber shortage, and as a result, lumber prices went through the roof, which affected new home build prices and construction prices, and that even spilled over into Dave Ramsey. I was listening to Dave Ramsey one day, and somebody had called in, and they were all frustrated about how the builder told them that the price that they had negotiated on for their new build house they were going to have to increase it due to the unexpected increase in the cost of building supplies, namely lumber, and the person was frustrated because they felt like they were being ripped off. And they didn't want to go through with purchasing the house, and they had and I guess there was a clause in their purchase contract that that said, because they're purchasing a house that wasn't built yet, new built house, that if that there was an unexpected rise in the cost of materials, that the builder could pass that on to them. And they were upset that they were actually taking advantage of a clause in a contract that they had signed, the purchaser was. And Dave Ramsey and the other people he had on with him was like, well, maybe you're not aware, but this is what's going on with the lumber, with the cost of lumber, and what was where are you at? And I'm sure somebody was pulling up, Zillow or whatever to look at comps to see what houses were selling for in that area, and the availability, because that's a big issue with purchasing houses these days, is availability. There's just really low availability. That it's anything when you talk about markets, it's all about supply and demand, and there's way more demand than there is supply in most markets, and certainly that was the situation in the market they were in, and the price that they were, even the price that they were the builder was raising it to was a really good price, low price compared to what comparable houses were selling for in that area, and And everybody on the radio show, you know, Dave Ramsey and the rest of his crew of whatever is rotating. You know, he's always got different people on with him. They were all just like, dude, that's a pretty reasonable position from your builder. It doesn't look like your builder is, you know, you seem to think your builder is taking advantage of it. It looks like your builder's being extremely reasonable. He could raise that price a whole lot higher and still be considered reasonable. You've got to go, dude, go, dude, go, dude. He's not charging you too much, and you realize, like, if you walk away from this house that you've got, you're lucky to have a house under contract right now. Most people that want a house can't even get a house under contract because there's a shortage in your market. You realize you're lucky to have a house under contract. He doesn't care if you break that contract. He doesn't care if you decide you don't want. I don't know why that guy's just sitting there, but he doesn't care if you don't want. You know, if you don't take it, if you don't take it, he's just going to put that back up on the market for sale, and he's probably going to sell it for more than the deal he's offering you right now. And anyway, I don't think they changed the guy's mind. He was just convinced he was being ripped off, but anyway. And how does that relate to Circle K? Well, Circle K is certainly currently having a cup shortage, and all they had was the cup holders are mostly empty, and all they had was 44-ounce cups. And I did ask the clerk that was there, it's like, hey, do you not have any 32-ounce cups? And she goes, oh no, all we have are the who's that girl? So all we have is the 44 ounces. I'm like, oh, it sucks. The 44 ounces don't fit in my drink holder. It's probably thought I was full of bullshit, but I just showed you all my drink holder. So anyway, I'm gonna bring it in with me. I'm muting myself unless I actually have to have a conversation with somebody. I'll bring this in, and I'm just gonna carry this semi-discreetly. So I try to find me a 32-ounce drink. No, that's mine. This drink was making my hand really cold. And I got to sip and save for the drink.
Can you fix your thing?
Wow, got a reward coming for the chips too. Nice. I don't need a bag now. I just need my change. Thank you. It's unfit for shit. So I've had that issue before. They do have a 32-ounce cup, but it's the one that's for the Froster, not for the Polar Pop. And the 32-ounce lid doesn't, the lid just doesn't quite fit right. Which, shut the hell up. Doesn't quite fit right. So I was kind of struggling to hold my phone and hold my chips and not dump my drink. In fact, I did get a little bit on me in there. And I didn't use the Froster lids because they're not like cup lids, they're domes. They're obnoxious. So drink that down a little bit. There's a complicated my situation when I grab those chips, but man, these limited edition Circle K grilled hot dog chips, these things are the bomb. And I'm not sure how much they cost. Like there's a price for one bag, and there's a price for 2 bags. It works out to roughly buy one, get one at 50% off. And that's a reason. It's a pretty reasonably good price on those. And my total was 50. If you, I don't know if you could hear it, but my total was because I'm sure my camera work in the store was horrifically bad. But yeah, it was. I got all I had was 50 cents. So I'm on the rewards program, and since every time, you know, like Circle K, most every store has a rewards program, and of course, ooh, they track you. Well, duh. It's, I don't know, to me it's worth the rewards. So, they're tracking me anyway, because I'm using the Sip and Save program. So, apparently I've managed to rack up enough rewards that, my total for the 2 bags of chips was 50 cents. My drink was free, so yay. Let's hear it for the small things. It's 6:12 now. I didn't have a whole lot of time to be productive, and I wasted a good portion of that just rambling on YouTube and trying to get myself a 32-ounce drink. But she didn't say nothing about me. It's the second time I've done that where I've grabbed a Foster cup because they had no regular 32-ounce fountain drink cups. What do you call them? I always want to say Thirst Buster. When things change names, it fucks me up. But they're not. It's not called Thirst Buster anymore. It's called Polar Pop. I want to get a Polar Pop cup. They're out of those. And I hope you saw in the video like what they're doing, because they can't seem to keep the 32-ounce Polar Pop cups in stock, which those are styrofoam cups, is they've been just basically filling the holes that where they're supposed to be, just filling them up with the 44-ounce, just shoving the 44-ounce cups everywhere, which is really frustrating. As you saw when I showing how the lid doesn't fit. It's a really tight squeeze right there really tight squeeze right there to put the 32-ounce drink in my cup holder. Oh no, I'm gonna have to get a different car, one that can accommodate a 44-ounce Polar Pop. I'm just kidding. I love my car, such as it is. Even though it's looking kind of rough right now after the rear end accident and the hit and run and then the little accident I was in a couple weeks ago, maybe 3. I guess it's probably been about 3 weeks since then. Anyway, that was a lot of driving to get a fountain drink, a lot of time. I'm sure my time would have been better spent just going, oh, fuck it. And the time and money would have been better spent going, oh, fuck it, and just getting a 20-ounce bottle, or just going across the street to 7-Eleven or a different convenience store that isn't having a crisis with keeping their 32-ounce cups in stock and just paying for a 32-ounce drink. In fact, speaking of rewards, I still do the 7-Eleven rewards. I probably got a free drink coming from 7-Eleven, but anyway. For those unfamiliar with Phoenix, I am on Van Buren Street. Van Buren Street. A little history on Van Buren Street. Back before freeways and the internet system, the interstate freeway system, Van Buren Street used to be US 60. Now there is a US 60 that goes through Phoenix. A large portion of it is Grand Avenue. Some of it kind of like it winds, and some of it is along I-17 and I-10. And generally, when you're on I-17 and I-10, you don't even notice it because the signage is real minimal. The only place where people realize they're on the 60 again is when they get on the 60 freeway, which is the old Superstition Springs Freeway. Nobody ever calls it the Superstition Springs Freeway anymore, but the Superstition Freeway, that's what it used to be called. Nobody ever calls it that anymore, but the Superstition Freeway, which used to be Arizona Route 360. At one point in time, they renumbered it as the 60, and at that point, Van Buren Street and the other route, City Street route that it followed, ceased being the 60. And I would imagine that had a lot to do with basically allocation of highway funds. As long as this was a 60, it was ADOT's responsibility. By it no longer being the 60 now, it's just a Phoenix City street, and it's Phoenix's responsibility. I would imagine that's largely what motivated that change. So this used to be US 60, and as such, there's a lot of decaying hotels on it, and the kind of businesses that would line a US highway route, like right there on the left there, Budget Motel. I don't know how well you can see that. Unlike John, I'm not gonna wave my phone around while I'm driving. I kind of, it's debatable as to whether what I'm doing right now is distracted driving. But anyway, you can see like on the right, there's a decayed old sign, and I think it's a mobile home park. Yeah, it's a mobile home park in there. I'm sure it used to be something else, but the old sign is there. There's this giant sign there on the right, land for sale. And of course, whatever used to be there, it's been all dumped out and vacated. The Family Dollar store on the right, that's actually brand new. Family Dollar does really well in very, very bad neighborhoods. And just for the record, this is a very, very bad neighborhood. All right, I got somebody laughing on YouTube in the comment section. It's so funny that those push through messages I see when I'm doing this, but I can't see my clock. Anyway, what Van Buren Street was really famous for a long, long time was especially this stretch of Van Buren, this is where the prostitutes used to be. This is where you'd see the hookers walking. I think that was my old road supervisor in the cab at the gas station there. And I never followed up on that, by the way. I don't know what my status is with the cab company, but at this point I need to worry about the status of my driver's license more than the status of the cab company. Anyway, what looks like a really nice hotel on the right, that's actually a homeless shelter. And what looks like a not as nice hotel on the left, that is a domestic violence shelter. Yeah, this is a bad part of town. And I'm sure you've probably seen it in my vlogs before. I haven't just really talked about like what this part of town is, but anyway, turning into U-Store, formerly known as Pack-In Store. That's where my storage is. Ooh. Hope the gate's okay. That's weird. It's opening. Oh, all right, where was I? So, yeah, I don't know how long the storage unit has been here, but the place has been here, but I get the feeling it's been here for a long, long time. But the building that I was passing on the left, I think it predates this being storage. I would imagine this was probably a hotel before, you know, and then when, you know, the freeways were built, and being on the 60 was not as desirable of a location for a hotel, and this area became kind of a seedy, economically depressed area. I think at that point, you know, a lot of the hotels, some of them became like weekly pay apartments. A lot of them, just, you know, places where transients lived. Yeah, still are. Yeah, my guess is that this was probably a hotel before, and they probably leveled the hotel and built self-storage here. But it's definitely been self-storage for a long time, and my ties to this place go back really far, really far, and that's a subject for a whole other vlog, because that's yeah, that's gonna take a while to explain. But it's I have extreme personal ties to this place, probably more so than anybody else that's here. Oh crap! I got all these CDs here, and I totally forgot that I had a pile of CDs I was supposed to bring back here from home. I forgot to grab those. Shit. Oh, whoops. Whoops. Oh, hey, somebody's been following my vlogs, commented that I need to show pictures of my equipment, and so okay, here we go. And I didn't respond to your comment, not ignoring you, just don't think of anything intelligent to say. Pictures of my equipment don't really say much. When I hook up and host karaoke at a bar, I'm looking specifically at what the bar has first and foremost, and I prefer to get into places that already have a sound system and patch into their existing sound system, because more likely than not, that sound system is already tailored to the room, especially if it's a live music venue, because at that point it'll put my karaoke on par with sound-wise with the live bands that play at that venue. But there's just a little bit of the equipment that I have that I use. A pair of these Harbinger speakers, and so much of my equipment's really nothing special. I mean, they're good speakers, a little dirty from rainwater coming in here, but just smaller two-way speakers. You know, the speakers I bring out are going to depend entirely on the size of the venue and what is needed for that venue or for that event. But I'm not sure where the other Harbinger is. Oh, there it is. It's right there. Boop. The other Harbingers. I got the Harbingers, and then these are my B52s. I got a pair of those. The Harbingers have 1/4-inch inputs. The B52s have speak-on inputs. The cabinets are looking a little on the rough side, a little banged up. I used to use these constantly and move them from bar to bar, and they've been dropped more than a couple of times, but they still sound phenomenal, and they work really good. I haven't been using either of those pairs of speakers much lately because they're both passive speakers. They said one's 1/4-inch input, the other's XLR inputs. Then I have a pair of, it's actually my only pair of tripods right now, your speaker stands. They came from Monoprice. They were surprisingly good quality. They're quite inexpensive. There is one, I have two of these by the way, but there's one of my projection screens. I do, you know, I mean, it's what I use primarily a video thing with karaoke, what do you call it, with um, um, karaoke, you got lyrics on the screen, but then also music video DJing. Yeah, so I prefer to get into sports bars where there's lots and lots of, TVs, but sometimes like I get into a live music venue and they're not, unlike a sports bar, they don't have lots and lots of TVs. Damn it, bird shit on my car. They don't have lots and lots of TVs, and I end up having to, basically provide my own video. So one of the ways that I will do that is with projection screens. That allows me to bring a really large screen in a little bit of space. Of course, then there's complications in setting up projection where you've got to figure out where to put the projector and how you're going to put it in such a way that people don't walk in front of it, so they're not looking in the lens and getting blinded or obstructing the screen. Other speakers, let's see down here. This is a passive sub. I forget the brand, but this is a professional passive sub. I've never used it. I've never even plugged this thing in. There's one day I was just kind of having fun buying stuff on. It was actually when I first discovered the OfferUp. I first discovered the OfferUp app, and I started just buying stuff on OfferUp. I'm like, oh, look at the deals, look at the deals. And OfferUp's got this thing where it'll show you stuff that's near you, recently listed near you, based on your GPS location. So I was like, all right, what are the new deals close to me? What's close to me? Oh, look, a subwoofer. He had some other speakers. I ended up just buying a passive sub. And you can't see the top of it, but it's got a place where you can put, there's a certain type of pole that works like these tripods where you can put the pole in there and you adjust it, and then you can put a speaker like this that has a pole mount. For those unfamiliar, that's a pole mount there. These Harbingers have the pole mount hole under it. The B52s have the pole mount hole under it. So it's got the pole mount on the top, where basically I use it as a base, and then I run the pole, and then I put the speaker on top of the pole. And I do have one of those kind of poles. It's in my kitchen. See, and it should really be here. There's another speaker down underneath there. I can't see what it is. I do believe it's my big passive PV, which begs the question, where's the other big passive PV? I haven't used the PVs in a long time, so I'm not sure. But I do have a pair of big ass passive PVs. They sound all right. They don't sound nearly as good as my B52s or my Harbingers, but they are higher power. They're really big. So I would imagine I can put them on these tripods, but they're pretty big. They're pretty heavy, and generally it's I believe the last bar that I DJ'd at that where I needed something that large was the Horse and Hound. I don't think I've actively used them at a gig since the Horse and Hound. I could be wrong, but and maybe I should sell them, but I keep thinking at some point I'm going to need them. So anyway, I was mentioning those are passive speakers. These are the speakers that I've been using for almost every gig where I'm not connecting to a sound system where I'm not connecting to a sound system that what I'm saying is, like, I'm always using my little mixing board, and I'm always using my microphones and my effects processor and my computer, which has all my karaoke and my music library on it. But then a lot of times I just run that output into whatever sound system is at the place I was at. Like, if it's live music venue, it's whatever sounds, I'll run it into the stage dongle, and then through whatever sound system, the bands play through or whatever. Currently, it's more or less what I do at Bullock's right now. I'm running into their regular karaoke system, and I'm not using their regular karaoke system. I'm merely using one input on their board, and I'm feeding the signal from my board to it. For quite some time, this is actually my second pair of passive speakers. They're kind of an off-brand, so it's not something I really brag about. It's Samson. So pictures of it don't really tell you anything about it, but there they are. There's the heat sink for the amp. Now, I've done the research on them. They're bi-amped, and they also have, I believe, lead-acid batteries inside of them. Expedition Pro XP200s, XLR in and out. They do have a audio protection circuit there, where like if there's like a spike in the music, I'm not going to blow the amps. It will do volume limiting on me, but for the most part, I never hear the limiting, so it's but I rarely ever drive it to the point where it needs to kick in. Input level, as you see, I keep it pretty darn. Oh, there we go. As you see, I keep it at about less than 25%. So, but I'm feeding them a pretty strong signal as well. More of a line level signal than a mic level signal, and these are very capable of running a mic level signal. So yeah, there's a thing here which says battery. It's the battery meter battery. I do believe these have lead acid batteries in them, which do not hold a charge, which is probably why I got such a good deal on them. And the amplification on they're bi-amped. I've looked them up online. They're bi-amped. So the tweeter has its own amplifier. The crossover goes into the amps, separate amps on the pre-stage, and then the woofers are amp. These put out really good bass. I do like to run a subwoofer in conjunction with them just to get even deeper bass, but these do have a reasonable amount of bass if I just run them by themselves. You see their reflex ports, tuned reflex ports on the side. These things sound phenomenal, but they're not huge. I mean, some people judge how good a speaker is by how big they are, and they're not huge, but they have a huge sound. Lately, the subwoofer I've been running in conjunction with them is this. I don't know a lot about it. It's a Jammo. It's a home theater sub, but it's a very high-end home theater sub. I found this probably for $30 at Goodwill. In fact, it's still got the price tag on it. It's kind of buried. But yeah, what do you call it? Yeah, when I saw it at Goodwill, I didn't. I forget, maybe $20-30, whatever it was. It was not expensive, but it was not like $5 cheap. Some things sometimes electronics at Goodwill are like $5. So it was enough I had to think about it, and I wasn't getting really good internet on my phone. So I tried to Google it, but I was not getting good reception for my internet on my phone, which is a common issue, common first world problem. But I did, the first thing I noticed, something that popped up in the Google search was that suggested retail was like $700, and I'm like, you know what? If that's what the suggested retail is on the thing, I don't care. I'll drop 25, 30, whatever it was. I was like, I'll buy that, even if it doesn't work. If that's a suggested retail on it, that gives me a lot of leeway to play with it and do some work on it. Other speakers that I got. That's a Yamaha powered sub. I don't remember much about that. I have an obscene amount of powered subs. I generally pick them up whenever I find a good deal on them at thrift stores. And the Jammo I just use, that's one I've been using for gigs lately. I can't recall if I've used this Yamaha at gigs or not. I'm drawing a blank on whether I've used this one. I'm pretty sure this one works though. These are a pair of mini Advents. Got these from pair of mini Advents. I think I got these from my neighbor. I can't recall what the deal is on the mini Advents. Oh, he asked if I wanted a pair of mini Advents, and the answer to that is always yes. These are what people would call white van speakers. Acoustic Response. Yeah, that is not really a legit brand. I actually, when I first started, I did use these for karaoke, and while they're nothing special, and all these specs are complete bullshit, like almost anything you get out of a white van, they are pretty well built. I mean, it's particle board. I'm sure that board is not tuned, but you've got a little full range speaker which functions as a mid, and a cheap ass cone tweeter which actually sounds quite good, and a cone woofer which is a 12-inch. And I do like this particular type of grill. It's solid. These are covered with carpet. Now the carpet's a little bit damaged because at one point I had them in my apartment, and my cats discovered that these were a great scratching post, and there was just really no stopping them from doing it. But I haven't used them in ages. There's the crossover here where you can adjust the highs and the lows, and that does actually work to sculpt the sound somewhat. Anyway, they're sitting here because I had a friend I thought might actually be interested in buying them, and I figured I'd sell them to him really cheap, but I haven't talked to him much lately. And they do sound really good. I mean, you know, for what they are. I mean, they're by no means audiophile speakers, and they're not even really the pro speakers that they pretend to be. If memory serves, they just have spring clip connectors on the back for speaker wire. But you know, with the right amp, they put out some sound. They sound all right. So anyways, the reason I'm saying I run the passive speakers and run those most of the time. These here, because they're passive speakers, I just run a power cable to them, run an XLR cable to them, and that's one less component I have to bring to set up. I just, you know, run those directly out of my mixer, and the sound is phenomenal. Those are so that's what I've been doing. I haven't. It's been quite some time since I've used any kind of passive speakers at a gig, because passive speakers requires that I bring an amplifier. And it's not that I have a shortage of amplifiers. I got tons of amplifiers, but that's just one less thing I have to plug in and make space for when I'm setting up, especially at most gigs where I'm like setting up and breaking down. There's another speaker. That's an interesting speaker. It looks horribly dusty, and I don't see where its mate is, but that's a JBL theater surround speaker. And when I mean theater, I don't mean home speaker. I mean theater, like your local AMC theater. If you walk into the theater and you look at the speakers that are on the side and at the rear of the theater, you will likely see one of these. I forget the model number. Is it visible? I doubt it. I got those from a friend. I don't even know if I ever paid him for them. And at this point, I don't even think he cares. But I got this from a friend. I did use them for a while. They're designed to be in a theater, like a actual theater system, on the rear, the rear and the side channels. And as such, they're not supposed to be getting any really low frequencies. And when I used them for quite some time at Gilligan's, not as my only speakers, but just kind of to add some sound in there. And the problem I had, and it ended up just being easier taking them out. I was going to add additional components in, since I was so permanent at the time there. I was going to add some additional components to try to limit the low frequencies going to it. Like basically just throw in a cheap equalizer and put that, you know, in between my mixer and my amp that I was powering them with. But I just ended up actually, those were something I came back for. I left them there when I quit. I ended up coming back for them later. So I never did pull them intending to not use them. It just ended up, the gig ended before I got around to adding the additional components to limit the low frequencies going into them. Because yeah, if you do hit them with like some bass, they don't like it. They make a horribly distorting, farting kind of sound, and hopefully it's happened a few times, so hopefully I haven't damaged them. The last I listened to them, they still sounded pretty good, as long as I didn't hit them with any low frequencies, so I think they're still good. Wow, I'm at like 39 minutes, and I'm supposed to be working on my recycling. Oh, here we got boxes everywhere. You know, it could be argued I'm really wasting a lot of rental space on boxes, but I often need boxes. Shipping stuff on YouTube, I need boxes. These are more passive subwoofers, or I'm sorry, active subwoofers. This Polk Audio is pretty awesome, and actually the karaoke show that I went to on my birthday, she's using this. I'm pretty sure she's using this exact same model sub herself, in conjunction with a pair of pro amplified passive speakers, and the sound is good. Although I don't feel it's not turning up as loud as I'd like to turn it up. You know, I like some bass, but yeah, that's a Polk passive, and I'm sure it's a thrift store fine. This one here, I'm not sure the brand on this one. I don't see the brand on it. I don't remember much about this one. I'll tell you, most of these passive subs I've used at one time or another. I'll wire in as many passive subs as the gig I feel needs to make the bass good and full and fill in the room. At one time, I think I had 3 different ones in different places at Horse and Hound. At Gilligan's, at one time I was running 2 different ones. One time I was running 2 different ones at Castaways as well. I just used the Jammo when I was at Jay's, and my first night at Bullock's, I used one, and it just felt like overkill, and I've never brought another one since. There's more than enough bass that comes out of their sound system for me to not have to mess with those. This here I got from my neighbor. This is like a, again, talking about white van components. This is sort of a white van component. It's surround sound elite, whatever that is. So a surround sound amplifier and subwoofer all in one. I don't know how good it is. I haven't tested it. I haven't messed with it, but I will take pretty much any free equipment anybody gives me because I'm a hoarder like that. Let's see down here. There's a Klipsch powered sub. I don't know if I've used that one or not. And there's a Sony passive sub. Some other screens, some more screens. See, and that's CDs. I just realized I need more space for CDs for my eBay stuff. So lay stuff out. So that's what's up with those. I think that's all Christmas CDs in that box. New sealed CDs in that box. Overstock Laserdisc. I'm sure I put this in another video. Overstock Laserdisc. That's the tablecloth that I scored from the wedding that I did. I didn't throw it away. It seemed like something I might want to use again. Scooter Graveyard. Let's see, back here we got amps and Laserdisc players and receivers and stuff, and more stuff, and more stuff. And you know, I wish this place had lighting. But the storage, I was thinking about moving out of here and moving into the storage where my girlfriend's stuff is, Priscilla's, and she told me she just had her rent go up a lot. When this place changed ownership, my rent went up a little bit. It wasn't enough that I really felt. It wasn't much that it went up, and hers went up a lot. So I'm glad I'm still here. Although I do need to, if I am going to vacate my apartment, I do need to get more storage for all the stuff that's in my apartment. Oh, this is neat. This is a mixer amplifier, all in one. It's Behringer. I can't read the model number because I put tape on the dang box. PMP something. I have used that, I think, 4 times since I bought it, and I bought it new several years ago. I bought it from Karaoke Now when their retail store was still a thing. It was just such an amazingly good deal. I couldn't pass on it. I didn't really need it at the time. I don't think I've ever used it for a regular show. I think I used it for like one show that I got for my first show there, and then I decided that I wanted to use different equipment for that show, and I've used it for a couple of house parties, and that's it. Memory serves. It's got speak on. It's got 1/4 inch live and level outputs, 1/4 inch amplified outputs, and 1/4 inch and speak on outputs. And for those who don't know what speak on is, that is speak on. Speak on cables tend to be expensive, so I try to keep those where I get it. As far as my subwoofers, most of the time I'm just, because I'm using home theater subs or something similar to it, I just try to use heavily shielded RCA cables to connect those. Ones that are generally sold for subwoofers or for whatever. An RCA cable is an RCA cable. It doesn't matter what the labeling says it's for. This one, at one point I had to move a subwoofer and it was plugged in, and I popped the end right off of that. But this is a damn nice cord here, so I do intend to repair that. Put another end on it. It's just pretty low on those priorities. There's the other speakers I was trying to find. Oh, they're so dirty looking right now. I forget the brand, I forget the model number, but those are Behringer powered speakers. They currently don't work. At least I'm pretty sure they don't work. I think I've just basically blown up the amplifiers in them. I've just overloaded them way too many times. But I did take them to a repair shop. They pretty much told me that it wasn't worth, that they're not really designed for component level repair, and that it would cost more to repair them than it would to replace them. Don't waste our time. I'm sure they're right. At any rate, there's I'm sure another shop would be willing to repair them. Some places are more down with component level repair than other places are, but I haven't taken them to another shop for a second opinion,
and I need to be unloading my recycling. I haven't taken them to another shop for a second opinion yet. My actual game plan for those speakers, I'm gonna throw them away like the guy asked me to. I'm pretty sure I could convert them into let's stick that there for now. Pretty sure I could convert them into passive speakers. I mean, I've already got loads of passive speakers, but I'm pretty sure I could convert them into passive speakers. And you know, unless they're biamped or something that complex, most likely there's an amplifier. I haven't opened them, so I don't know really what I'm dealing with on the inside of them, but more likely than not, there's an amplifier circuit. You know, they have XLR ins. Most likely there's an amplifier and a board. That's, you know, for those unfamiliar with Behringer is German engineered and made in China by the lowest bidder. So, they tend to be well designed, well engineered in theory, but very poorly manufactured. There's a lot of mixed opinions about Behringer in the professional audio world, and I know a lot of people use them, a lot of people grudgingly use them. A lot of their stuff has really awesome features. It's generally looked upon as a brand that's good value, but it's no secret that Behringer equipment has a reputation for not lasting. Am I still shooting video? I bumped my screen. Not lasting very long. And that's been my experience with them. You know, they're great until they're not great, and sometimes the time period between great and not great is not great. I can't complain on those speakers. Those actually used to be 2 of the 4 stage monitors at. Used to be 2 of the 4 stage monitors at the Goathead Saloon when I was the karaoke DJ there. And I was literally the karaoke DJ there for the last year that they existed. The owner ended up shutting the business down, just probably he was just losing money. He wasn't getting enough people coming in. And I think the landlord raised his rent. I think that was part of the scenario there, but he ended up just shutting down, and at least he gave me a good heads up so I could get all my gear out of there. And he did tell me that, you know, he was, you know, I asked him what, he did tell me, like, he owned all the equipment that was in there, and Goathead Saloon was primarily a live music venue. He told me he was selling all the equipment that was in there, and I mean, we're talking something that's literally a concert venue in terms of what sound he had. And as small concert venues go, his sound system was amazing. I've been to some live shows at the Goathead Saloon. It just sounded phenomenal. Almost, I think it was all powered speakers. Those Behringers, and by the way, just for the record, those Behringers sound good. They're a little lacking in the low end, but they sound, yeah, I mean, they don't now because they need some work, but they sounded good. And he sold them to me at such a low price, like I can't complain. I got 2 years use out of them, so can't complain at all. 2 years is more use than I got out of most Behringer components that I purchased new. So, quality Chinese workmanship. Anyway, he got those. He just had those on the stage. What he had on the side of the stage for people who were
for what the crowd was listening to. He had some kind of monstrously huge subs that were hidden underneath the stage, which you couldn't really see them. There was like cloth laid down on the front of the stage, and they were hidden behind that. All I know is if I tried too hard to drive the bass, it would literally shake the stage to the point where it was problematic. So yeah, he had those subs, and they were on a separate channel. And then he had the just several large full range JVC powered towers. I wish I knew the model number. I'm sorry, not JVC, JBL powered towers. They were amazing. And to be honest, I think just 2 of those would have been plenty adequate for that venue. But if memory serves, he had 4. Oh shoot, I just saw somebody I need to go talk to. If memory serves, he had 4 of them on top of each, kind of stacked on top of each other. It was extreme overkill, but my God, the sound was good. And I think part of it was he could have them at angles to where it, disperse the sound a little better. But yeah, he honestly, I think of all the house PAs I ever connected to, that was the absolute best. It was ridiculous how good my stuff sounded there. Anyway, he approached me and he was like, "Hey, any of that you're interested in buying?" Yeah, way overkill for anything I need, but he did end up selling me 2 of those little powered full-range Behringers. I forget the price, but it was definitely a fire sale kind of price. And worked for me for a long time. Anyway, that's some of my equipment. That is not what I was planning on talking about. To be honest, I was just planning on terminating this video and working on my recycling and actually crushing some cans. But it's 6:51, and they close their gates at 7. So as I was pulling out of there, I saw a disabled woman in a motorized wheelchair trying to get my attention, and I really need to go back and talk to her. She gave me a couple of Blu-ray players, just having problems with, and wanted me to diagnose them and fix them for her, and I have completely blown her off. Not intentional, just with all the shit I got going on. It was right around the time I started with the cab company. I was overwhelmed with cab company, and I've been following this. I've just been overwhelmed with everything from sinus infection to gigs, to weddings, to I don't think that goes through. Yeah, it doesn't go through. To crippling depression that I can't get out of bed, which I know sounds like an excuse, but for those who suffer from it, it's a real thing when it's happening to you. Anyway, I have 2 of her. I don't even know if they work, but I have 2 of her Blu-ray players that she gave me in good faith as working units, and I really need to get either give them back to her or give her some other Blu-ray players. So, in fact, one of them I think is if memory serves, when I looked closer at it, was a UHD Ultra HD 4K Blu-ray player, which I kind of want. If it works, I kind of want. I want to talk her into just getting a standard Blu-ray player, because I know she only has a 1080p TV, and I don't see her buying a 4K TV or 4K discs ever. So I'm trying to take advantage of her, just trying to. I do have a 4K TV and a modest collection of 4K discs, and I'd like to get I'd like to have another player. Right now, the only player I have is my Xbox One X, which I won. We'll talk about. Anyway, on that note, I'm going back to talk to her, because I don't want her to think that I'm trying to rip her off, because I'm really not. And thanks for watching. Wow, this is the longest vlog ever.